Hey, don't know how you found me, but it's me, Van, and welcome to What Remains of Us. What Remains of Us is a visual novel created for Otome Jam 2023, and that's about all I know. It's been a long time since I've been here, and for that I apologize, and I hope everyone is doing well, and we can get back into the swing of things. I decided to pick this because in the description it said it was fully voice acted, which is great. I feel like getting back into doing playthroughs is kind of nerve-wracking and, I don't know, a little bit intimidating right now. But I thought it would be good to ease in with like a one-shot situation. As usual, content warnings will be in the description, and without further ado, let's begin! Woo! Press enter or left click to continue. Cool. What pronouns do you want them to use? They, them. Of course. Their name is Lost to Time. Give them one. Oh, Divina. That's a cool name. Should I keep the intended name, or should I just put... I'll just put my name. Vabs. Banshee. Okay. 30 regeneration vials, 10 fire mollies, 5 burn salves, 20 smoke bombs. You tap your fingers against the glass of the second shelf. It's getting a bit cloudy now that you're actually looking properly. You'll have to wipe it clean soon. Oh my god, wait, are we like an apothecary? 1, 5, 7, 11 bottles of snake oil, 15 bottles of disinfectant, 40 lozenges. Hold up, I'm gonna Google this. Lozenges. Okay. Okay. Let's try that again. 11 bottles of snake oil, 15 bottles of disinfectant, 40 lozenges, a couple boxes of bandages and such that you're much too lazy to count, and finally, 20 tins of white flower balm. Luckily for you, there's still enough stock for 4 more days until another batch is in order, but you're running out of salve faster than expected. Which of course means you'll have to spend the rest of the morning grinding herbs again. You groan and scribble down a reminder in your journal. Harvest herbs, make the salve, bottle them, and label... Wait, when was Paulo going to pick up his tonic again? The front door chimes open, followed by the soft click of it closing shut. You scoff. Good heavens, did people not know how to read? You're sure you flipped the sign over more than 10 minutes ago, though you suppose it is your own fault for not having locked the damn thing. You ignored. If it was so important that they come in after closing time, then they can very well figure it out on their own how exactly to get your attention. You have work to do. You flip through the last pages of your journal. The thing's at least a few months old now. The edges of the binding are frayed and the paper is littered with stains and creases from your trips out to gather herbs in the forest. You drag your finger underneath the lines, hoping it will help you decipher your words. Monday? No. That was Pablo's pickup for the poison, not Paulo's. A page flip later, you find what you were looking for. There in your absent-minded scrawl, Saturday, midday. You really should improve your writing.
You?
Oh? You still... No. No! He shouldn't be here. Why is he here? Your finger curls. Who is this? Scratching and tearing the paper underneath it. Even from here you can hear his breath, hear the will of the world flow through his every inhale and exhale. You crave to place your hand over his chest, to feel his lungs expand and strain against its hollow cage. To curl your fingers underneath his skin and tear flesh asunder until all that's left is his damned soul, destined for a world so much greater than this, yet still here all the same. But you've lost that right long ago. His breath was never yours, never even his to begin with. His heart is turned away, beating in time with another. His soul is his and his alone. Ex-lover? You force yourself to relax, finger uncurling and leaving a broken trail in its wake. You raise your head.
What are you doing here?
Hello? He's staring at you, disdain clear in the quiver of his eyes. There's something else there too, something that you can't quite place. Not right now. Pain clouds whatever's left of your judgment. Even now, anger is an easy escape. It opens its doors for you at every turn. The familiar steel of pettiness slips into your hand like a honed blade. It hums in search of blood. What am I doing here? Charity work. They seem to be, like, in the swing of things. I'm gonna do this.
What am I doing here? What are you doing here? This is my shop. Matter of fact, it's closed if you haven't noticed.
Oh my god, their voice! Okay.
Your what?
He asks, taken aback. Slowly he scans the room around you. Realization dawns on him in a cold rush. Satisfaction slithers up your spine. It isn't a win, but it's good enough.
I see you've lost the ability to read as well. My name's on the sign out front. Or were you too busy staring at your reflection to notice?
I want you. I don't care about the love interests. I don't. Oh my god.
Well, you could have decorated better. You
His
sure
face-
you're alright staying in a place like this?
Oh. Okay, so I've realized we've run into a little bit of a problem when it comes for me reading the dialogue. If their dialogue kind of overlaps with the sentences in between, I just won't say anything. And if it doesn't, then I'll read. To your horror, he devolves into a fit of shoulder-rattling coughs. Oh no, he's sickly! Blood splatters on his lips and collar. He winces, fingers tensing at his side. Your eyes flicker to the movement, retort dying on your tongue. You don't know how you didn't notice it before, but there's blood there. Lots of it. He grimaces at your attention, but doesn't bother to hide the injury.
Did they send you here, errand boy?
You grit out, slowly making your way over to where he is. After all, this is your damn shop, and you can't not let some stupid scribe die on your watch. He laughs bitterly, but doesn't deign you with a response. You look up at him. He's staring at your hand, eyes hazy and face cast in shadow.
I'll take that as a no, then.
You curl your fingers around his hand and gently pry it away from his body. His palms are covered in blood. The cloth of his blouse is torn, and where it isn't, it sticks to his torso from sweat.
What did this?
You murmur, hand hovering over the wound. Some of the blood has dried, but it's bright red and angry, and... Your breath hitches in your throat. Black tendrils spread out from the gash. You can't see how far they've gone underneath his clothes, but... You look up at him again. Salvi stares back at you, his breathing shallow.
You idiot. You should have told me sooner.
Forgive me. I was rather preoccupied.
You shake your head, and before you can think twice, point to the doorway leading to your living room.
Sit down on the couch. I'll be with you in a moment.
He purses his lips. You ready yourself for a retort that'll have you dragging him by the ear, but... nothing comes. His eyes are tender in a way that you're too tired to name. It unnerves you far more than it ought to. He shakes his head as if to discard the thought and gives you a brief nod.
That couch better not be moldy.
Man, we're trying to help you. Chill out.
Go. Before I have second thoughts.
Wow. By the time you finish closing up, Salvi's already sprawled out on your couch, sweating up a storm. At some point, he's taken off his top and shoved it underneath himself. The bleeding has mostly stopped, but the cloth thankfully catches most of the stragglers.
What the hell happened to you?
His eyes are closed and his brows are drawn in sharp discomfort. If his breathing didn't forcibly even itself out upon your entry, you would have mistaken him for being asleep. You roll up your sleeves and kneel at his side. Now that he's shirtless, you can better see the damage. It's exactly as you expected. The gash is bright red with spots of black where the poison first spread. He's tried his best to keep his breathing even, but now that he's attempting to speak, it comes out strained.
Manonangul attacked me. I was trying to get past the damned swamp by nightfall, but
Shut up.
He eyes you, indignant. Still, he remains blessedly silent. His breathing evens out once more. Oh my god.
Reserve your energy. You can tell me more about how you royally fucked up later.
Okay. You take out a vial from your hip and stare at the bright green liquid inside. Should you tell him? I'll give him a warning. Even though he seems like he's gonna be a whiny baby about it, but I'll give him a warning. You flick your attention back to him. He's staring at the vial, but his gaze is far off. He should recognize it, but nothing. You're not sure if he's just tired or if it's the poison getting to him. Either way, you don't have time to waste.
Shit.
what?
His brows draw together in confusion.
This will hurt.
You pop the bottle open and pour the contents straight into his injury. Oh, ooh. He screams. It starts as a grunt and morphs into something guttural and animalistic. It takes everything in you to keep pouring. His left hand grasps desperately at the back of the sofa. The right finds its way to your shoulder and digs into your flesh. The last drop falls into his open wound, and you turn your focus to prying his hand off of you before he injures you as well. It takes longer than expected, but soon enough, he's clutching at your wrist instead, body writhing like a dying roach. After a minute, the wound begins to bubble, black blobs of liquid rising from the gaping hole and sliding down his torso. It takes 5 minutes before the screaming finally stops. Salvi's eyes are closed. His whole body is covered in sweat, chest heaving and arms still shaking from the residual pain. You make your way to stand up and fetch him a cloth when you realize he's still clutching onto you for dear life. They seem to have a history, and I'm feeling nice, so... He needs you right now, more than he'll ever care to admit. You sigh and sit back down. Gently, you pry his trembling hand from your wrist so you can hold it in both of yours. It is rough and calloused, so much more damaged than when you last left him. What happened to him? What happened to them? If Salvi was here, Dante shouldn't be far off, and if Dante wasn't here... After a moment, he stops trembling. A few minutes later, his breathing evens out. You place his hand against his chest. He does not wake. Oh, Eepy. You stand up slowly, careful not to jostle him as you pad your way over to the sink. You mutter a quick incantation that gets the water flowing, and soon enough your basin is filled. You heft it by your hip and grab a clean rag and some soap on the way back. You drop by his side and begin cleaning him off. His skin is pliant underneath your hand, and it comes to you then that this is the first you've ever seen him out of his stupid little outfits. Okay. He's always been easy on the eye, though. You'd rather die than ever say that to his face. Okay, maybe the history isn't what I thought it was. It's not the first time you've understood why Dante kept him by their side for so long, and you know that it won't be your last. By the time you finish wiping him off, taking care not to linger too long, the basin is stained dark red with a mixture of his blood and the Manonangul's poison. At first you thought you were just imagining it, but further inspection proved you to be right. His marks are gone, both of them. And if the lack of a large self-sacrificing imbecile barreling through your door tells you anything, it wasn't entirely consensual. You lean back and sigh, the weight of the past hour's events finally sinking in. You press your palms against your eyes, your own hands stained red from his blood.
Shit.
You wake up to early morning light and fur against your skin. Sleep is still nestled deep in your bones, but you blink it away and wipe the crust from your eyes. Try not to wince as last night's events come back in full force. Gentle hands against your skin, tender touches that betray years spent together. You try not to think too hard about it. The wound is still too fresh. You prop your elbows up behind you to try to sit up, only to be met with a searing hot pain in your side. You hiss, nearly biting down on your tongue.
Idiot.
You look up to see Banshee staring down at you, unimpressed. They roll their eyes and push you back down with a light shove. It hurts at first, but laying down is infinitely better than what you were trying to do. Interesting, perspective shift.
Don't move.
They sigh.
I can't believe I have to tell you this. Did traveling with Dante teach you nothing?
Oh, we can... I'll just say shut up. You huff. Heavens, they make it so easy.
Shut up!
You bite back, all goodwill from last night shoved to the back of your mind. They don't even have the decency to try and look offended. You don't know how they can do it so easily. Gods, you feel so fucking small. You stare off to the side, bitterness rising in your throat.
Why are you here?
Can't a man waste away in peace?
Oh, I think this is, a glitch of some kind? Anyway, they snort. Not if it's you. I'll haunt you to the grave. Tell me, why are you here? Shouldn't you be by their side, writing whatever the hell it is you do about their adventure?
I told you to shut up!
Silence. You keep your eyes averted, hoping that they take it as a sign to leave. They don't. The next time they speak, there's barely contained anger bubbling underneath the surface.
They left you, didn't they?
For
Ooh.
all your supposed education, you truly do not know how to take a fucking hint.
They left you to fend for yourself, and now you're here on my fucking couch, injured with goddamn necrotic poison.
Your hackles raise.
I deserve it! I know I fucking deserve it, so could you do us both a favor and shut up?
No.
I know I'm a nuisance. Don't have to rub it in. Just... I'll be out of your hair soon enough. Please.
Oh my gosh? What is going on? Even more silence. Despite everything, you know they're still there, hovering. Like a goddamn specter of everything you lack.
Is that what they told you?
You don't answer. You feel so damn tired. They're silent again, contemplating their next words. Good. The bastard could do with a bit more thinking before they speak.
What? Are you going to tell me I'm wrong?
They exhale.
I'll talk to you again later. Go rest for now.
Somehow, it hurts more than if they'd just said nothing. You ladle the porridge into a bowl, careful not to spill any. You're going to have to eat the same food for a few days until Salvi's body fully recuperates. Thankfully, you quite like the taste of porridge, thank you. You look behind you at the couch. His hand peeks out from the back, tapping idly to some imaginary beat. Excuse me. You realize after a moment what beat it is. Gloved hands, gilded masks, the swell of music reverberating in your ear. Salvi leans in, mask off, and laughter caught between his teeth. He's half bathed in his shadow, the moonlight on the balcony casting him in an ethereal glow. From here you can smell his cologne, can practically taste the sweetness of his skin.
Even better than you, I'd wager.
Oh,
Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
whoa. For a brief moment, you forget how often he makes you want to stitch his mouth shut.
Well, I'm certainly ahead of you.
Behind you, someone chuckles. You cannot see them from your position, but you know they are there, watching.
Shit. I did horribly.
They huff out a breath, and it is followed by the clink of a glass on marble.
Don't be too hard on yourself, Dante. You did quite well tonight.
They stepped on my toes 3 times. I'll have to put salve on them in the morning.
But they didn't step on the Countess, did they? were exquisite on the dance floor, if I do say so myself. Not much of a loss.
You roll your eyes but concede. He was right, after all. As long as the esteemed Askel, guardian of the sun, sun saint, chosen of the Almighty, charmed all the right rich bastards, then the night was in their favor. Just thinking of their titles already makes you want to blanch. Blanche? You know that this is needed, that getting supporters will help in your quest. Salvi explained it far too many times, and you do actually listen, thank you. Still, you just wish you didn't have to see so many people eye the two like their next meal. Exotic, those Castilla had murmured, and it took everything in you not to hex them on the spot. Salvi runs his thumb in soothing circles along your hip, always perceptive to your anger simmering just below the surface.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Footsteps approach from behind, and soon enough a pair of hands joins Salvi's at your hips. Oh my gosh! Wow! This is kinda... okay. You lean back into the solid weight of Dante's chest and preen as they press a kiss behind your ear. Wow. You suppose it is a comfort to know that at the end of the day, they both return to you. Wow. They are yours as much as you are theirs, whatever that entails.
You're so beautiful.
They murmur, just loud enough. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut him off. They murmur, just loud enough for Salvi to hear it too. You revel in the way Salvi's hands tense against you. His throat bobs, the red flush of his ears peeking from underneath his hair. You half expect him to leave, to admit that this was far too much for him to handle. He doesn't. You watch with bated breath as you expose your neck, as Dante kisses a trail along your collar. You wait for him to look away. He doesn't. It's best not to linger on the memory too long. You were young and stupid and all too daring for your own good. No matter how much you want to, it's not as if you can return to what you had. Yes, you can! You can! Wow.
Food's ready.
So, are we not with Dante either?
Is it porridge?
His hand stills before quickly resuming its tapping. You make your way over to his side and deposit the bowls on the coffee table. His eyes are sunken and his skin still pale from the blood loss. Then again, it's hard to tell when someone's skin is a sickly gray even... Oh, sorry. You press your hand against his forehead to check his fever and thankfully find that it's mostly receded by now.
Taking advantage of my illness to touch me, which...
Oh. He grins, but it is pained and weak. The adrenaline high of yesternight has faded, leaving him a pathetic mess on your couch. I do love a pathetic man.
A grown man blush.
Oh.
That is, if I had any more blood to spare. Unfortunately, I'm rather injured at the moment.
You roll your eyes and pick up his bowl. Even in this state, he still can't find it in himself to shut up. You scoop up a spoonful of porridge and blow it to cool it off.
Does it have the little chicken bits in it?
He's such a baby! Oh my god! You stare at him over the spoon,
those are
unimpressed.
You're still sick. Best you're getting is a few scallions and some ginger.
He purses his lips and thankfully doesn't raise any complaints. For someone who spent over a decade traveling the continent, he sure is a picky bastard. Once the porridge is sufficiently cooled down, you lower the spoon to his lips. He gobbles it up greedily, entirely too happy not to have to feed himself. You snort. Are you ready to talk about it, or what did he do to you? Are you ready to talk about it? You scoop up another... Oh. I need to be more patient when the words come up. But I also don't want an awkward pause and then I start reading a little too late. Anyway. You scoop up another spoonful of rice. He continues to chew on the porridge you fed him. After a moment, he swallows.
So what?
Salvi looks up at you, the very essence of innocence. It irritates you more than you like to admit. What you do to wipe that look off his face.
I'm not good at this.
You sigh, dropping the spoon back into the bowl.
I see we've acquired some self-awareness in the past 3 months.
Oh. You roll your eyes and pick up the spoon back. You roll your eyes and pick the spoon back up to begin blowing at it. After a while, his grin falls off, attention elsewhere. His hand has stilled, no longer tapping that familiar beat. It's odd to see him like this. You press the spoon to his lips and watch as he opens his mouth and swallows it.
Are you ready to talk about it?
You ask softly, the same way one would speak to a spooked horse. He is a spooked horse. He chews, his gaze still far off, until finally, he looks at you.
May as well rip the band-aid off, correct?
He chuckles, the discomfort clear on his features. For all he speaks of love and heartache, it truly is an art to try to uncoax him from matters of the heart. It's not something you're particularly good at, despite your years spent together. Most of the time, the three of you just shoved it in a jar and hoped the lid was tight enough to keep it shut.
Take your time.
You start to blow out another spoon. Oh, God. This keeps happening. Okay. You start to blow out another spoon as he gears up to tell his story. He glances at you, a soft and genuine smile on his lips. You don't feel as if you deserve it.
Thank you, darling.
Oh, darling? Are you kidding me? His voice actor? So good.
For what?
For being here.
You're the one who crawled into my shop looking like a newborn babe. Thank fate, not me.
I want them. I want them! He laughs, eyes crinkling at the sides.
Still, you didn't have to bother taking me in and cleaning me, feeding me even. You could have just given me the potion and been done with it. And thank you.
Sal.
You start choosing your next words carefully. You're my friend, you're welcome. No! Oh god! I feel like you're welcome is more dismissive, so I'm thinking we're gonna go with you're my friend.
You're not bothersome.
No, that's not what I meant.
I know what you mean, scribe. Listen to me.
He grows quiet, unable to look you in the eye.
You're not a bother. For fuck's sake, I've known you for what, 5 years now? Do you really think I'd just let you suffer when I have the capacity to help?
You set the porridge aside and take his hand in yours.
No matter what I say, no matter how much you irritate me to my core, I cannot deny I hold affection for you. So please, let me help.
Oh my gosh, this is so much more than you're my friend. I feel like this is so much more than what I picked. Not in a bad way. I'm not at all displeased, but wow.
I've already lost you once.
He goes quiet. You wait until he's halfway done with the bowl before finally popping the question.
What did they do to you?
Salvi stills, staring at the spoon halfway to his mouth. You place it back in the bowl. He sends you a dirty look, but there's no real bite behind it.
Can't you let a man finish eating first? Besides, are you so sure it's them I'm so bent over about?
Because their opinion is the only one you ever seem to care for.
His expression morphs into one of genuine contempt, brows drawn and lips pursed. He opens his mouth as if to say something, but decides against it. He looks disappointed somehow.
Well, it's not.
Then what happened?
He remains suspiciously quiet.
Salvi?
Salvi.
Okay, fucking hell, fine.
Oh.
Because of that moronic oversized twit. Happy now?
You blink slowly, taking his outburst in stride.
And what exactly is it that Dante did this time?
Hey.
Salvi chokes on air, which quickly devolves into heaving coughs. You rub his shoulder as he lets it all out before offering him a glass of water. Halfway down, you see that he's begun to cry, the poor sod. You take the cup from him and deposit it on the table. It takes a while for him to regain his bearings, yet the tears remain.
They've had enough of me, apparently. Ever since you left, they've been so high-strung. I know it's not your fault. I understand your choice, and I don't blame you for it.
You nod slowly, opting not to comment.
But gods, they're all my years with them. I know not to expect much, but it's too much. Gods, it's too much.
Ooh. You raise your hand and place it against his cheek. He leans in, letting you wipe away his tears with your thumb.
It can't be you. I cannot replace the hole you've left in their heart, and they know this. We both know this. I stopped practicing magic for them. You know how pathetic that makes me feel. You stood up against the council, left before they could influence you further, no matter what we thought. And yet, here I am. 5 years without magic, on the verge of being snuffed out of existence for an imbecile who doesn't even want me back. A person who can't even look me in the eye as they tell me to fuck off because I've outlived my usefulness.
He laughs again, almost hysterical.
This war is over, Salvi. There are no more tales to tell. Go, you are no longer needed here. As if I hadn't willingly walked into this over a decade ago when they summoned me. As if I didn't choose to stay.
Your face contorts into one of displeasure. Unfortunately, you're not surprised. This is entirely in character.
And what am I supposed to say to that? Okay, Dante, thank you for having me in your service for 15 fucking years. It's been a good run. Adios.
Okay, I don't know. Like, the flashback, Dante seemed kind of cool. Now I'm feeling a little bit... His hand clenches and unclenches like he's itching for a fight. Hold on, the music got really loud all of a sudden. Okay, hold up.
Next thing I know, I was back in that damned forest all those years ago. It is so much harder to break our contracts than it is to create them, and they just... without even telling me.
You tuck his hair behind his ear and watch intently as his breathing begins to even out.
I never even told them I loved them.
His voice cracks. No! What do you mean? He closes his eyes and lays back even further into the pillows. You're not sure if he realizes it, but he's begun to nuzzle the back of your hand. You're right, or they're an idiot. I mean, obviously, I'm only hearing one side of this, but, I do feel like they're an idiot right now. It's not sounding great. You purse your lips, righteous anger simmering in the back of your mind.
They're an idiot. Always has been.
Salvi chuckles. He always did give them the benefit of the doubt far more than they deserved.
I'm right, you know.
I do.
15 years together, and this is what they do to you? They don't deserve you.
He stills, cracking both eyes open to look at you. There's an aching smile on his lips that reaches in between your ribs and pulls. It makes you want to do things that you shouldn't do, if only to make him feel better, even just for a moment.
If they don't deserve me, who does?
Your tongue weighs heavy in your mouth. He's challenging you, you know this. When you don't rise to meet him, you're not sure who's more disappointed. The tension? The angst? 2 days later, you're feeling significantly better than you were before. Banshee is nowhere to be seen, probably either gathering herbs again or just making potions and salves at the front desk. Though you're not exactly sure why they'd still be doing it so late. It's already past sundown. And you, well, you've spent the past 2 days in a delirious state of sleep, only waking up whenever your mind decided to give you a respite from your dreams. You dreamed of them again, the two of them. You wish you could stay, but there was no point in lingering on the past, lest you end up like the rest of your kind, so blinded by it that they ignore the cruelties of their inaction. And to be honest, you're kind of hungry. They already graduated you to solid food, so they wouldn't fault you for a little snack, right? You prop your elbows up behind you, and this time you can finally stand without issue. Your legs are unsteady, already used to 3 days of lying down and only standing for the infrequent bathroom break. You were only half lying the other day when you said Vanchi was a shit healer. You press your hand against the bandages wrapped tenderly around your torso. They'd definitely gotten better at it, that's for sure. You smile softly, grazing your fingers against the places they touched. Are you kidding me? Ah! They need to kiss! This is insane! Oh, my god.
What are you doing?
Oh, oh no. You got caught. You laugh, turning around with your hands raised.
Nothing. Nothing for you to worry or be suspicious about.
That's suspicious.
You know that doesn't make you any less suspicious, right?
Whatever could you mean?
They sigh and roll their eyes fondly. You wait for them to say something, but they are rather busy staring at the couch.
Well, if you excuse me, I'm off to get a snack.
Do you want to sleep with me?
Oh! Hold on. I'm sorry, or of course? I mean, my initial reaction was, I'm sorry, what? I'm worried if I say of... Hold on, there's a plane passing. I don't know if it's gonna catch in the audio. Hold up. Wow, okay, that was... Anyway, I'm gonna save here, just in case. I really want to be enthusiastic and just feel like, yeah, I mean, we've had this crazy tension, and we should.
Of course. I would love to.
You grin, teeth and all.
Though I never thought you'd proposition me. Do you treat all your patients like this?
Getting cheeky with it.
You know that's not what I meant.
They sputter, indignation clear as day.
Truly. I was quite looking forward to knowing what all the hubbub was about.
They sigh and begin massaging their temples. Ah, your beloved Vanchi, still so bad with words. They grumble something under their breath, that you don't bother to even try and hear. My decision to change the character's name, I feel like knowing the formatting of this, I wouldn't do that anymore, because I didn't realize there was going to be, like, perspective shifts. It is a little bit jarring to read Vanchi, but, yeah, okay. I think I'm happy with this choice. This is fine. They grumble something under their breath that you don't bother to even try and hear. It's not going to be flattering for you anyway.
You know what? Forget it.
What? No, my darling. Forgive me.
You pound and reach out to give them a hug and apology. Only for your legs to give out from under you. They catch you before you hit the ground, arms wrapped around your fragile form with what would be a surprising amount of strength. If you didn't have the pleasure of already knowing them.
This is why I told you to stay in the chair, Salvi.
You smile impishly and clench onto them, giving into the excuse of close proximity.
Does the offer still stand?
Only if you stop being so obnoxious about it.
No promises.
Of course.
Yes! You lean over their prone forms, attempting to grab onto your journal without waking them up. Wait, what? Really, it was kind of your fault for leaving it here in the first place, but who are you to know that they couldn't even wait until after dinner to begin coupling? You suppose it would be distasteful if you wrote it in an account of the Guardian's sexual misadventures into his biography. Never mind that he's your best friend. What? Okay. You pointedly avoid looking at both of them as you stretch your arm even further, just a bit more.
Salvi.
Oh. Well, shit. You chance a look down only to see that they're both awake and looking right at you. You chuckle awkwardly and pull away, trying your damnedest to get out of the situation immediately, but there's a large callous hand circling your wrist and... Oof.
You're heavy, Salvi. Scoot over.
You grunt as you're bodily dragged and slotted in between the two. Gods, how did you end up here?
You're thinking too loud.
You turn your head to Banshee. They look amused, eyes lidded no doubt from your rude awakening.
Should I report you to the council for mind reading now?
They roll their eyes and scooch over to sling an arm around your waist. At your other side, Dante does the same, their hands joining over your stomach.
Go to sleep, Salvi.
They murmur softly. Banshee's head is at your shoulder, and Dante has taken to burying their face in your neck and... Oh. Gods, you shouldn't get used to this, should you? It was doomed to fail from the start. I mean... It doesn't have to fail. You're broken out of your reverie by Banshee entering. You're in their bedroom, hands in your lap as you sit on their bed feeling far too much like a bride waiting for her groom. When you chance to look at Banshee, they are dressed in a nightgown that exposes much of their neck and collarbone, and, well then... You exhale, averting your gaze from their body. It's not the first time you understood why Dante wanted them, loved them instead of you. No, this is so sad. You've resolved yourself not to look at them the whole night when a lump of cloth hits you in the head. You sputter and grab at it. To your surprise, it's another nightgown, tailored to your size and brand new. You look up at them. Apparently, you two are of the same mind because they are resolutely looking away as well.
Get dressed. I had your clothes repaired, and they should be ready in the morning.
I can't just undress in front of you.
You say, indignant.
Has 3 months turned you into a blushing maiden? I already took off your pants when I first bathed you, Salvi. Besides, I've seen you fleeing butt naked from enough angered spouses to last me a lifetime. But if you truly wish for privacy, then I can make myself scarce.
No, stay. That would be nice. Ooh. Okay, I'm saving. My goal, my ultimate goal is to make them, smile and hold hands, and maybe kiss a little bit. So, I kind of wanna, instigate. I kind of wanna shift things in a little cheeky direction. However, I do worry that this may just make it like physical, no feelings, and this would lead to more of a gentle and emotional connection. Ah, what the heck.
No, it's fine. You can stay.
Okay. Their breath hitches. Didn't expect that response then.
All right, I'll look away then.
What happened to, I've seen you naked enough times to last me a lifetime?
Those were accidents.
And bathing me?
Medical emergency.
Always so practical.
They huff and keep their back turned towards you, a valiant show of restraint, if you're honest. If it were you, you would have at least twitched by now. You look at the cloth in your lap and run your fingers over the soft material. Cotton, just like you prefer. You lift it over your head and shimmy it over your body, careful not to undo any work Banshee did to your torso. You smile. It's a good fit that's just big enough to please you immensely. You adjust how it settles over your legs for a few moments before slipping your pants off. It's only now, 3 days later, that you realize there aren't actually... I can't read today. It's only now, 3 days later, that you realize these aren't actually your pants. You shake your head at your own stupidity. You fold the pants and deposit them by the nightstand.
Are you done?
Quite.
You're grinning when you reply. Banshee makes their way over to the other side of the bed, occasionally stealing glances at you, and it warms your heart to be reminded that you aren't alone in this... whatever this is going on between you two. It feels nice to be wanted, even if it's not in the way you'd prefer. Even if they can't love you in return. What? Are you talking about... Dante still? Oh. You slip under the covers the same time they do. You mutter a quick spell, and the lanterns flicker shut. Their back is turned towards you, careful to keep some distance between your bodies, so you turn your back as well. It's a small bed, barely enough space to keep you apart. You itch to reach over, but it's not your place. Ah, the tension! The tension of it! Oh my god! So you keep your hands to yourself, folded right over your torso like they had both held you ages ago. Ah! You suppose it's fitting that you'd spend far more intimate times with strangers, and yet your heart never ached at the memory. But the thought of that night alone could have you rolling stones for the rest of eternity. They never did ask you to come sleep with them again. Maybe you smelled? Banshee was never fond of floral scents, but you can't help it if you naturally smell like lavender. Which probably makes you sound like an overconfident twit, but you're not human, so you get a pass.
I'm not bothered by it.
By what?
I told you I loved him. I know you're not seeing each other anymore, but most people would have had a reaction to that. Especially considering I've known both of you for so long.
I feel like the music is still pretty loud. Okay, return. Okay. There's a shuffling behind you, and for a moment, it feels as if they could set you alight from their judgment alone.
I always knew.
What?
Your breath hitches.
It's in your eyes, Selby. The way the two of you looked at each other. I admit, I was jealous at first, before I realized Dante had room in their heart for more than just one.
What do you mean?
They pull at your arm until you're forced to look at them. They raise their hand up and cup your cheek. Banshee's eyes are alight with magic, and you know then that you're not alone in this moment. You ignore it, leaning into their hand and reveling in the way they run their thumb across your cheek. If Dante sees, then it's their own fault, not yours. Rituals are a two-way street, and it's no business of yours if they're stupid enough to cross.
Do you really think yourself so unlovable?
Oh, no voice? Okay. You scoff. They never loved me. As a pet, maybe, but... They look at you, the disappointment clear in their eyes, and you know you've said the wrong thing. You can't bring yourself to care. The light in their eyes sputters out, and it's enough for you to know you're alone once more. Dante left. Good riddance. Wait a minute. Dante left? Good... Huh? I'm an idiot. I completely misinterpreted when it said, like, you know in this moment you're not alone. I thought it just meant, because the two of them were, you know, having a moment and whatever. I understand now. I understand. They pull their hand away, instead placing it over your heart. They don't say anything about what you just done, and it makes you feel far worse than if they just did.
We both know they're an idiot, love.
And isn't that unfair? Calling you that, knowing full well you can't help but listen.
But they're our idiot. For better or worse. We know they're not good with emotions, but they love you. Have loved you for longer than you'll ever know. And I can't believe they're so much of an idiot to let their self-sacrificing nature get in the way of you both.
You place your hand over theirs and squeeze. They curl their fingers in before intertwining them with yours.
But the question is, do you love them still?
Ooh, I'm gonna save. Okay. At this point, presently, I don't really understand Dante's perspective, but it kind of seems like Dante's pushing Salvi away for some bigger reason. Not necessarily because they're no longer interested in Salvi. So I'm gonna hope by picking yes, we can resolve this and everyone can be happy. But if not, I will come back to this decision.
Yes.
You answer and curse your traitorous heart because you mean it. There is no judgment in their eyes, only understanding.
I do too. And I suppose I'm lucky, considering I left of my own volition. But I still love them, faults and all. And I don't think I'll ever stop.
You run your thumb over their knuckles and raise it to your lips for a kiss. They smile softly, and it should be discomforting, the things you know you'd do to keep it there forever, the things you would sacrifice for them to be happy. But it's not. And yet again you are met with the realization of why exactly Dante fell in love. Why you fell in love, no matter how much jealousy had painted their visage green. Visage? But you always did love the scenery, didn't you? You pull them in, tucking their head underneath your chin. They would destroy you, and yet every year without fail spring would come.
Go to sleep, Selvi. Tomorrow. Dawn.
This art is so tender.
Tomorrow. Dawn.
And drift off into the night's embrace. Ugh. Okay. The fire dances behind both of you, warming your frigid bodies in the cold night. Is this Dante's perspective now? All around you it is quiet, broken only by the crackle of fire and gusts of wind. Occasionally there is a screech in the distance that gets louder and louder, until it catches sight of you three and turns tail. It was amusing and all too convenient, if you're honest. Still, you don't care enough to ruminate on it further. At the very least, you don't have to tire yourself out on them.
I love him.
Oh? You turn to Dante. The confession hangs in the air, stealing their every breath. What? You say nothing, lest a stray word snuff out the rest of their courage. Even here, with the abyss looming over all of you, you would still choose to stay by their
I
side.
have for a while, but I didn't know how to tell you. How to make sure you didn't feel as if you were some consolation prize. That I loved you as much as I love him.
Oh my god?
But then came the matters of court and the army, and
I know.
They look at you, their expression pained. There are bags underneath their eyes, far worse than you'd ever seen them. You would soothe them away and sing them to sleep were you not trying to conserve your magic for possibly your worst decision yet. You look past them at the vast and endless sea where the sky meets the horizon in an all-consuming, starless black, where the serpent is set to awaken and rise from the depths to plunge the world in darkness. Behind you, Salvi is sound asleep.
I'm sorry.
You take their hand in yours, pressing tender kisses along their knuckles. They're calloused and worn from years on the road, but you love them all the same.
Don't be. I love him too.
I know.
They breathe in, drawing your hand to their lips.
I see it in your eyes.
You press your hand against their cheek, savoring your last moment together before what may very well be the end of all things. Okay, so they seem cool with it? I don't know what happened. Why did our character decide to leave?
If I don't survive, tell him for me.
Oh, because of the war? You smile and raise your brow wordlessly, brushing your knuckles against their cheek. If they confess to Salvi, then it should be on their own terms. Dante shakes their head, a smile ghosting the edge of his lips.
Yeah. Yeah, I should.
You cannot use magic to ease away their troubles, but you can do what you can with all that you have.
Let's go to sleep, love. Tomorrow is the last dawn of the old age.
They throw one last glance at the abyss, at the decomposing corpse of a goddess as it consumes the sky in its inky depths. The weight of the world presses down on their shoulders.
Tomorrow. Dawn.
Ah, I see. You wake to rumpled sheets in an empty bed. The space beside you is warm, the only sign that you aren't delusional, that what happened last night was real. You rise and rub the sleep from your eyes. The bed is still warm, so he shouldn't be too far gone. Probably just went to take a piss or something. Always had a poor bladder, that one. You comb your fingers through your hair to untangle it and replace your tie with a ribbon. With that out of the way, you lay your hand down beside you, only to be met with a note. You raise it to your eyes and begin to read.
Dante is sentenced to death in 10 days' time.
It says, and your heart sinks to your chest.
Plan to kill them. To keep the legend alive and burn the soul underneath it. The council has been planning this for months. I should have known. Yet I was too blind from the grief of you to see the noose tightening around our necks. You know I can't let this happen. I hope you can forgive me. Just this once. Thank you for everything, darling. Run. Find your name. Live a life far away from this. You deserve bounds more than the paltry hopes we feed on. If I don't come back, know that I have failed. On the nightstand is my ring. Keep it safe. I love you.
You clutch onto the note and spring forward to your living room. That idiot! That blithering, self-sacrificing fool! All this talk of Dante's failings, and he cannot stop himself from doing the same. You suppose it should come as no surprise that you're all self-sacrificing nitwits. No sane person would march headfirst into the abyss as you all once had, and yet look where your bravery has led you now. You get to the living room just as he's about to leave through the back door. And with a harsh pull, you drag him right back in. He falls down with you on top of him.
You fucking imbecile!
All the color is drained from his face, as if he wasn't already deathly pale to begin with. There are tears streaming down your eyes, and you do not care enough to stop them. If he feels guilty over it, then it's his own damn fault. You kneel by his side and grab at his collar. The bastard had somehow gotten his clothes back while you were still asleep, but you're much too incensed to laugh at his strange spikes of competence.
Did you not even once consider that I would want to come with you? That I would want to save one of my best friends?
He stares at you, mouth agape.
You self-sacrificing lot only think of yourselves. I love you, you blithering...
Oh, I didn't want me to cut them off. I'm sorry. Your hands fall from his collar onto his chest. You lean forward, your forehead bumping into his.
I can't lose you again.
He's quiet underneath you, heart beating fast against your palms. Beating in time with you. You don't know how much time has elapsed when he lifts his hand up to your face, thumb caressing your cheek. He leans in, eyes lidded.
Can I kiss you?
The delivery! Oh my god! Okay.
Yes.
We love it. We love to see it. You sigh against his lips, the fight giving out from you. He presses his lips against yours, and it's exactly as you'd imagined it all those years ago. His lips are soft and cloyingly sweet. His skin smells of lavender in the morning rain. His hand is in your hair, pulling you closer and closer into him. You are home. When you finally come up for air, you collapse into him, arms tangled behind his neck.
You already laid down your roots, love. Can't take you from here.
He murmurs, but you know he's already made up his mind despite himself.
My roots are with both of you. I thought that would have been obvious by now.
He chuckles, so light and warm that you can mistake him for the sun itself.
You have buried yours within me, 6 feet deep, and I shall carry them to my grave. I will guard them until nature runs its course. Until all traces of me are no more.
He's breathless, eyes lit with want.
I'm sorry for taking so long.
He mutters against your hair, trailing soft kisses along your neck. Cheeky bastard.
You're forgiven. For this, that is. But not for everything else. You have much apologizing to do.
Salvi laughs, and it is bright and breathy and beautiful.
Let's get our idiot back.
You smile at him, at the hope in his eyes.
Yes, I suppose we should.
Let's go! Oh, that's the end. Aw, that was so cute. Oh. I'm happy with this ending. I don't think I want to go and redo anything. This was so sweet, very satisfying, and I think it ended perfectly. I think that was very beautiful. Oh, Ryder? Siyokoi? Yeah. Say it with me. Siyokoi, yeah. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but you killed it. You did so much work on this. You killed that. You deserve to put your name on the credits multiple times. Oh? Anything happening? Hello? Credits? Should I click something? Is that just how it ends? Am I supposed to wait here? Oh. Okay. You'll never get tired of the sight of it, you think. The moon, that is. It's been almost a year since she returned, since you pulled what remained of her from the belly of the beast, and it still takes your breath away to see her in the sky, shining in the glow of her brother's love. What did it look like? The moon, Vanchi had asked once, their gaze cast off to the darkness above. She was beautiful, Salvi replied. I wish you'd been alive to see her. And now you are. You know that she is there, guarding over you in the darkness, lighting your every step. If you had the chance to go back, you'd do it all again. There's no time left for regrets. Come on out, dog, someone shouts from the outside. Even from here you can smell it. The oil on their swords, the gunpowder waiting to be ignited. But above all else, you smell fear. They are more afraid of you than you are of them. They always will be. It's time to kneel. You look down at the mask clutch between your hands. You cannot regret. You put it on, the familiar comfort of Vanchi's magic washing over you. The pommel of a blade slams hard against your door. You cannot regret, for you had loved and were loved in return.
Wait outside. I'm coming.
And that is enough. Ah! I really liked that. I liked it. Can I look at the photos? Oh, and you can collect them? That's beautiful. That's cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Ooh. Well, what can I say? I think I'm pretty satisfied with my choice. I feel like with these one-shot visual novels sort of things, I'm not so much into the idea of, like, going through all the multiple choices unless I'm super, super duper intrigued to see the differences, and if I'm not, like, satisfied with my ending. Hopefully this gets me out of my slump. I wanted to choose something, like I said earlier, that was easy to delve into, not too long, because I feel like I get a little bit intimidated when I start a long series. This isn't to say I don't want to finish Hello Charlotte and Witch's Heart. I'm very much needing to do that. But that was What Remains of Us. If you made it to the end, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!